Rivals brought to you by Utah Eye Centers has arrived, and of course we're going to the playoffs. We're talking playoffs, but it's really
NBA
more
playoffs.
about, NBA playoffs. Yeah, because there's the NHL right now. But who really cares about the NHL right now? It's kind of fading, just saying.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. You know, the Canadians like
I like hockey,
Mark
but
Rippon,
I don't.
Canadians like hockey.
Yeah, I don't like it. Anyway, so interesting thing happened recently. Dwayne Wade scores 28 points against the Philadelphia 76ers. They come back, tie up the series 1-1, and he credits the success of the team, but specifically his own success, on none other than comedian and actor Kevin Hart, who's a Philadelphia native, was sitting on the sideline with Allen Iverson. And I'm sure you can imagine Kevin Hart. He was just jawing on Dwayne Wade like no one else's business. And Dwayne Wade took it personal, and he went off and he thanked Kevin Hart for the performance and for the Miami Heat's win in Game 2 to even up the series. So I got to ask you, Jason, does trash talking really work? I mean, I mean, he stared him down at halftime, and he talked about this in his post-game interviews. But does it really work, and does it really fire up a team, or is it just kind of overhyped?
No, man, I think it absolutely. As an athlete, you're looking for everything you can to get fired up for a game. And if you can catch an opponent on the other team talking trash about you or some kind of insulting statement, that goes right up on the locker room board, right? So for everybody to see it. But I think NBA's unique because it's, in football, we're a little farther away from them. And, I would laugh at some of the cat calls I'd get in Philadelphia and New York, right?
But a lot of it, you don't hear it when you're on the field.
You don't hear it on the field. But basketball, I notice when I go to the NBA games, those players take it personal, right? And they get engaged with the crowd. And I think, Wade he's used this as a fuel. The other team doesn't, the players might not get him fired up, but he's allowing the crowd to get him fired up and using that as motivation to play. I think it's absolutely a great weapon to have you motivated to play.
I've seen this many times in my career, and what happens, you have these players who are highly competitive. Right? I mean, they will fight you over the simplest, dumbest things in the world. I mean, who gets off the bus first, and who's at first in the lunch line, and who finishes their food first, kind of thing. I mean, it's that just highly competitive atmosphere. If you've ever watched the movie Top Gun, all these high testosterone, who's going to be the best pilot kind of thing. Athletes are wired the same way. I mean, we're just like, I'm going to be, and so
you never, an athlete, they're ready to fight like that.
You
right?
never ever want to call into question someone's capabilities, someone's motivation. You don't want to
take it personal.
You start talking about someone's mama. You talk about whatever, and they get bent by it. In fact, I learned this. So I played with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Dan Marino, and he was ultra competitive. I mean, he was so intense in games. It was awesome to watch. And periodically we would play golf. And so I would never, ever talk trash to him on a golf course, right? Yeah. Because it's like, it would just make him mad. And so it was, he'd kill him with kindness. Oh, man, you're so good. You're so amazing. I don't even know why I'm even here today.
Doing that, right? Yeah, dude, you're so good.
But there's a method behind that madness, right. And it's like, but yeah, whenever you tick somebody off, you're asking for it. And I love seeing those experiences play out on the court like that.
The NBA is unique because I've been on the front row in some NBA games, and you look at those the players get engaged the crowd, and I sat next to a dude that would just hammer the teams. The players would come by and like flip him off and swear at him and really get in. I'm like, dude, why are you even paying attention to this guy?
Where was this game?
This was
it a Utah Jazz game?
Yeah, Jazz game.
I think it was my neighbor.
Yeah,
I kid you not.
I sat next to him, and he'd be like going off on these people, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get thrown out of the game. I mean, he was that bad.
There's an article
because he'd goad those players, and they would start swearing at him right in the middle of the game.
There's an article in it was in Sports Illustrated, and it was about Utah Jazz fans. Yeah, and you see him standing up, and he's pointing at Charles Barkley. And this is my neighbor, and he has the Sports Illustrated, and he wore this as a badge of honor that he talk trash to Charles Barkley. That was a big deal for him.
Because athletes, when you call each other out, you're ready to take them out in the alley and just pound them, right? I mean, if you're in the locker room with somebody talking to you like that, eventually it's going to come to blows. Well, and it has. Some NBA players have gone up in the crowd after people, over the years. So it's really, I think it's funny. I think the players like Wade are using it to get fired up for the games.
It's really interesting how just by some of the words people say, and you think, oh, it's kind of you're kind of given a right as a fan to kind of pick on the players and to say things and to have your cat calls and whatever, and you think it's funny, and you think that you actually hide behind the fact that you're in the stands and that there's really nothing they can do. Well, I'm telling you, be careful what you say.
How far you go.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about this on our podcast. So you want to dial into Rivals. You can text it by texting Rivals to 65537. Go to the social sites down in the corner, and if you're smart, dial us in your phone. And this edition of Rivals is now over.
Off to our corners.
I am not him.
I am not him.
But we are related.
I love that.
I don't.